This conference will now be recorded.
Let's start today's session. So in today's session, I'm going to discuss about REST API, that is also called as DRF, that means Django REST Framework. So REST API means Django REST Framework. Into REST API, or we can say DRF, means Django REST Framework. We can say that this is the subject which I'm going to cover from now onwards. But to learn REST API, what is the prerequisite subjects means Python and Django is mandatory. If you want to learn REST API, compulsory you have to know about Python as well as Django, mostly Django. Without Django, we cannot go for REST API, and this is a extension of Django. So whenever we do some practical programming, same like Django project through only we can create, but additionally we need to install Django REST framework. DRF, we have to install it. Okay, DRF, Django REST framework, we have to install it. So then we will continue with same Django project through only. So first of all here, what is API here? What is API? First of all, API stands for Application Programming Interface. Application Programming Interface. So API is a software. API is a software which will provide a communication between two or more applications. This is the main purpose of API, two or more applications. API stands for Application Programming Interface. API is a software which will provide the communication between two or more applications. See, generally nowadays, when we perform any online transactions or when we go for any online services, so it is very important. API is very important because API can able to make the communication between two or more applications. Okay, so two or more application communication how to provide means API. For example, so you are booking any online tickets, so you can visit any website. That website people are having so many links, like ticket reservation means multiple ticket reservations are possible, like movie tickets, bus tickets, airline tickets, railway tickets, like that. The moment when we click on railway tickets, the link, when we click on it, the link through we can communicate with the IRCT website. So that means from one website to another website we are communicating, and via API. The API links will be provided in the website. The moment when we click on the link, automatically that will be communicated with different application. But no matter that application how it was implemented, whether it is implemented using same Python language or Django or ASP or JSP or Java or anything, but ultimately communication is going to take place here. Suppose here two two applications are implemented or developed by using same technology like Python or .NET or something. That is called homogeneous communication. In case two applications are implemented in different technology like Python with .NET, Python with Java, two different applications are communicating via API means that is heterogeneous communication. But ultimately application communication is must in real time. So without application communication, we cannot perform any operations. So this is general concept. API is completely every day it's a part of our communication only. Suppose you are using mobile device. Okay, you are using mobile device. So when we open any application from your mobile device, that application connects to the internet, and that application sends data to the server. The server retrieves the data, and it will interpret the data, perform the necessary actions, and sends back to your mobile device clearly. So this is happening totally via API only. So the application that interprets the data and present you with the information the way you wanted in readable way. So this is what an API. All of this happens through API only. Without API, this type of sending data, getting data is not possible. So Django, so APIs means this is application programming interface. Then what is REST server? So what is REST API means? The API which is created by using REST architectural pattern. REST is an architectural pattern. The API which is created by using REST architectural pattern is called REST API. So REST stands for representational state transfer. Okay, REST stands for representational representational state transfer. We can say that REST transfer. The API which is created by using REST architecture is called REST API. REST is an architectural style or architectural pattern. In Django REST framework, we are going to use REST architecture for creating API. That's what we can call it as REST API. We can say that. For example, in Java programmers used to call it as RESTful services. They will also use RESTful services. Okay, so they will also use REST architecture. They will call it as RESTful services. And in .NET generally we used to call it as Web API. So we will call that REST API only. We will use REST API only in .NET also, but we can call it as Web API. The terminology is different. Java programmers, they'll call it as RESTful services. .NET programmers, they call it as Web API, and Python programmers, they call it as REST API. Same concept. So REST API is nothing but it's called web services. We are going to generate web services, but web services is old technology. Web services extension as APIs only came into the picture in real time. So all the APIs are generating for web services only. Web services means what? The services which are providing over the web for communicating with multiple application is called web services. So now tell me, to learn REST API, I said that Python is required and Django is required. These are the prerequisite subject. Python and Django is must to learn REST API. So Python is completely for coding part, and Django is completely for web development framework, web development framework. So REST API is for what purpose? Web services. Web services means what? The services which will provide over the web is called web services. To create web services or APIs, compulsory web application is required or not? Web application, how it is possible? Using Django. And only Django web application is possible? No. Logic code we should write with Python. So Python and Django mandatory for creating an APIs. So that's what we can say. This is not only API, this is DRF also we can call it as Django REST framework. Django is compulsory required to generate APIs using REST framework. So these two are the prerequisite subjects. Even though when we write REST API code, completely that is Python code only. So how much strong knowledge you have Python, then it will be easy to understand the API creation like this. Okay. Yes. And one more important thing, the official website of Python is this one, www.python.org. If you want to go for Python documentation, completely official documentation, you have to visit this website, python.org. And at the same time, official website of Django is www.djangoproject.com website. And the official website of Django REST framework also there, Django hyphen REST hyphen framework .org. This is the official website of Django REST framework. So official website, Python, python.org. Django project is, this is actually Django project official website, Django project.com website. And REST API official website is this one, Django rest framework.org. I can see Google it now. Just I want to show you. So here in Google, Django hyphen rest hyphen framework.org. Just you can try to type this. Now you can see the moment when we enter it, we got this official website, Django REST Framework, DRF also we can call it as. Don't confuse DRF means what, okay? So DRF is nothing but Django REST Framework only. The latest version of Django REST Framework is version 3.14 is there here, official website here it is indicating. And now you can see this is the official documentation. If you want to follow this installation process and coding process and everything, so you can also go with this official website. So maximum I'm trying to go for this kind of concepts only. You can see respect, routers, view set, generic views, responses, requests, all this I'm going to cover. Suppose views are there, so there are many views are there here. Okay, suppose here I'm taking generic views are there. These are the generic views. List model mixin, create model mixin. These are all topics which will be there in our documentation also. So, and if you want to know that what version we have, Django version, Django and REST framework version means simply you can go to here, command prompt. So you know that there is one simple command is there, pip space freeze. This is the command. So this command will bring us what actually you can see this. This is exactly all the frameworks and versions, all the libraries, which version is installed, everything is showing like this. But already in my previous applications, I included Django REST Framework 3.14 version, and make sure that Django is required already 4.1.3, and Python is also required. Python already it is there 3.11. So these are all versions clearly available are here. So complete versions are available. So now you can see, uh, just a moment. Python already there 3.1.4 is there, but it's not showing here. Python version also you can able to check that. So how to check that version means, so Python here, give me 1 second. Python version, Django version, both are there here. Python hyphen version, Django admin hyphen version. So this is Django version. Okay, this is the case. So both are there in my computer so that I can able to start REST API clearly. So API is application programming interface. REST is an architectural pattern. The API which is created by using REST architecture is called REST API. The main purpose of REST API is to communicating between two or more applications. So Django REST framework will allow you to create RESTful APIs. REST is an architectural style, but it is not a protocol. So Django REST framework is completely open source, flexible, and fully featured libraries. Means so many libraries also will be there. Directly it will come. We can able to use it directly with modular and customizable architecture and building APIs, which is uses Python and Django. So Python Django is compulsory required to generate APIs. So uh, what we can say, Django REST framework will provide lot of generic classes for CRUD operations. Just now I shown generic classes are there. List model mixin, create model mixin, update model mixin classes are there that are built-in classes. And there are different types of APIs also. So what are the different types of API means? Three types of APIs mainly, sir. So three types of APIs. One is private API. Okay, next one is partner API, partner API, partner API. This is partner API, private API and partner API, and public API. Public API. So private API means what, sir? It can be used within the organization only, sir. It can be used within the organization. Within the organization. Yes. It can be used within the organization. That means only some sort of clients they can use this private API. Means if they are running the business, but their business is only business audience or target audience are different, only such kind of audience. Suppose if you are running a business, you are using the API within the same in your company only. Your company employees are multiple or they want to communicate it with that application, and they want to exchange the data, share the data within the organization only possible via private API through they can able to communicate. So partner API means it can be used within the business partners. It can be used within the business partners. It can be used within the business partners. Yes, business partners. So business partners means, so suppose multiple companies are running same business, but their target audience are common for all the business partners. They can use same API to communicate with their customers only. This is called business partner API. We can say that. So generally we use public API in real time because all the links are be open to all the customers. They can able to communicate from application to application anywhere it can be possible. So it can be used in third-party developers also here. It can be used any third-party developers, any third-party developers we can say that. Yes, public API it is. Can be used any third-party developers. It's possible. That is called public APIs. These are the different APIs are there. But generally commonly used in real time is public API only. So because you are communicating with different application directly from your mobile device and from your desktop or anywhere, no? So that is public API. So generally how API is going to work means client will send HTTP request to API. So the API will interact with the web applications. Then web application will interact with the database if it is required. So let me show you the diagrammatic representation, a simple API how to prepare. I'll show you now. Just to try to understand. Let me go for documentation. So this PDF I'm going to send today after completion of class, and along with today video lecture you will find out this PDF, sir. You can, this is REST API PDF. So I have included in this clearly whatever the content I'm going to cover, that also I included clearly. You can also read this content which I'm going to cover. So this is how API will work now. You can see. So here Python application is there, Java application is there, Django application is there. Okay, Python and Java and Django, everything. But these applications are having API to communicate with concerned application, web application, and here database is there. So I'm saying that clients sends HTTP request to API. Okay, API will interact with the web application if it is concerned, if, which application through you are receiving the services, web services. So that API will communicate with web application, and web application will interact with the database if it is required. Web application will interact with database if it is required. Web application provides required data to API only. Web application provides required data to API. Yes, it's provide required data to API, and API returns the data to the client only simply. The API only will return the data to the client. So this is how API will work, and even in our application programming interface also, We are communicate with Python application to Django application to Python application like this. In the mediator, we use called API. So here REST API is an architectural style for an application programming interface that uses HTTP requests to access data and use data. So now we can see here client is there and server is there. And there are some important HTTP verbs are there. HTTP verbs or HTTP methods. So this is API methods. Get method for getting the data, post method for inserting the data, put method for updating the data, fully updated. There is one more method is there, patch method, that is partial update, and delete method for deleting the data. So get, post, put, delete. So this is request. Client will send request by using this any one of the API methods. Then that request goes to RESTful API, that means REST API, and this API will process by server request, and response will come from server to the API, but API will give the response to the client. But most important thing you can observe, how the response is coming from API to client means in the form of JSON or XML. This is very important, sir, because in our daily practice, we are going to use JSON format only, sir. JSON means JavaScript Object Notation. XML means Extensible Markup Language. So why JSON format or XML format means it's completely open standard format. JSON or XML is open standard format. Yes, open standard. Any technology can understand JSON. Suppose imagine that my source application is Python. Python application to I'm communicating with .NET application. Imagine that. But .NET application will send the data, but that data can able to understand by Python? No, it's not possible. And at the same time, if you are communicating with Python to Java application will send the data, but that data can be understood by Python? No. So that's what here in generally API communication or web services process, what they will do means the server will give response into open standard format, which is commonly understandable by any language, that is called JSON format or XML format. So compulsory JSON or XML you have to use it. But in our lectures we use JSON completely. Throughout the REST API I'm going to convert the data into JSON format and sends to the client only. Because the application can receive the JSON any standard format, any application can understand JSON format only, which is common format, we can say that. So when web services use REST architecture, they are called RESTful APIs or REST APIs. A REST API is a set of web addresses that respond with pure information. API returns JSON or XML, which is common format. We can see all the information enclosed within the curly brackets or square bracket. So once we retrieve the data from other application, you will be able to see final output in the JSON format. How the JSON format in the sense square bracket inside curly brackets are representation. This data is called JSON data only. So we are sending request via these methods, get, post, put, delete methods, but the request is processed by server. Server will give response to the API. API will convert the data into common understandable format for any application, that is JSON or XML. So this is what is JSON means here. I clearly mentioned description also in my documentation. You will receive today this PDF also along with video lecture. So JSON is a format, okay, and data interchange format that uses human readable text to store and transmit data. Objects consist of attribute value pairs. JavaScript object notation, we can call it as JSON stands for, is a standard text-based format for representing structured data based on JavaScript object syntax. It is commonly used for transmitting the data in web applications. So sending some data from the server to the client, so it can be displayed on a web page only. Even XML also sometimes we use, but we are not going to use XML format in our REST API. We will use only purely JSON format only. Extensible language, markup language, which is used to describe the data. The XML is a standard, flexible way to create information formats and electronically share the structured data via public internet as well as via corporate networks. So this description I provided for JSON and XML. So now coming to the methods. So in our daily process of REST API programming, once I start programming in daily process of REST API programming, so we are going to use some methods, sir. HTTP methods. You know about two methods so far in Django point of view. So get method, post method. Get means we will get the records from the database. Post means we are going to post the records into the database. That things you know that already. But here you can see this. These many methods are there. HTTP methods. HTTP methods. So get or this we can call it as HTTP verbs also we can call it as HTTP verbs. HTTP methods or HTTP verbs we can say that. So get method, post method, put method, patch method, delete method. Get, post, put, patch, delete. Get method, post method, put method, patch method, delete. So first I'll talk about post. Post means just creating. So how we use in Django, we can create a record or insert a record. That is post method. Create means post, creating or posting or inserting the data purpose. So read means what? Get only. Reading or retrieving or getting the data. So if you want to retrieve the data from database, then we use get method in REST API. That is called reading mechanism. Update purpose, there are two options are there, sir. You can see put method is there, patch method is there. Got it? So there is put method and patch method. See, put method means fully updated. Patch method means partially updated. So suppose imagine there are 10 fields are there in your database table. 10 fields. Okay, ID, name, address, age, salary, like this. 10 fields are there. So if you all fields you are updating means better to use put method. That is put method for updation of all fields. But suppose out of 10 fields you are updating only 2 or 3 fields only, not all the fields. Then better to use patch method. So it is partial updated. Sir, what will happen when I use for 2 or 3 fields updation purpose also if I use put method? Yes, we can use put method for 2 or 3 fields updation also, not a problem. But the problem is what you know, especially in REST API, for 2 fields updation, only 2 fields you are updating. Total 10 fields are there in the database table, but you are updating 2 fields only. For 2 field updation, if we use put method that is fully updated, remaining 8 fields also data will be transferred from client to server. You are updating 2 fields only, but remaining 8 fields also will be sent the data to the server. That's not good idea. So that's what partial update means. What 2 fields you are updating means that 2 fields data only can transfer to the server. Partial update means 2 fields update means that 2 fields data only can be transferred to the server, not remaining 8 fields. So burden will be less and process will be less. So partial update purpose we use patch, fully updated purpose we use put method. And delete method means you know how to delete the records. So deleting or removing the records from database table. So these all operations, post, get, put, patch, delete, in every day we are going to do same operations but in different style. Okay. So now API resource. What is API means? How the APIs are after creating API means the API is just a link. One link will provide. This link we can inject to any website. The programmers or end users when they click on the link, then this API link will be work for them, and API will get this data by using this link, and it will provide the data to them clearly. So for example, here I want to include this API link into any websites, not only DurgaSoft, any Facebook page or any page we are going to provide this link to the students. If students wants to see the trainer details, this API link I am going to provide, I am going to include in multiple websites. If they directly link from that website, this link only, directly it will communicate with the durgasoft.com trainers list will display them. How it will display them? Because we have provided API link only. So this is the first number www.durgasoft.com base URL we can say. This is very important. And second one is slash API is there, naming convention it is, slash API is naming convention. And third one is trainers. So that is endpoint or API resource we can say. Trainers means this is the what we can say uh, endpoints or resource. You can give any name, but this name is important. Endpoint is there. Finally, which resource data you are getting, that it will represent trainers or employees or anything. So API or endpoint resource or API resource, or else we can say URL name also. This is how API link will be there, sir. If you provide this link to any website, then the students will communicate with this directly durgasoft.com website by using this API link only. Here API is not compulsory, but endpoint or resource is must only. This is okay. This is the API description link only. Now it's time to set up the Django REST framework projects are now. So installing DRF. So it is very simple. Installing DRF means what? First we need to create Django project as it is directly by going to PyCharm Professional Editor, and you can create directly Django project. After Django project, what we can do? We need to install Django REST framework. How to install Django REST framework additionally means simple command you have to pass. pip space install space Django REST framework. This command is enough to use it. So to install Django REST framework, first we have to install Python and Django framework. But at least you have to check whether Python is there or not in your computer by going to command prompt Python space hyphen hyphen version. And Django also you have to check whether Django framework is there or not. So if Python and Django both are there, then you can ready to install Django REST framework. To install DRF using pip space install space Django REST framework without space. So this command is very simple command, sir. You can able to do it this command through installation step Django REST framework. And after installation of Django REST framework, make sure that uh, you have to include this REST underscore framework into installed apps of settings.py. Include DRF in Django project under the installed apps REST underscore framework. This must, sir. Once you do one time this REST underscore framework in the installed apps of Django project, then from then onwards you can work with REST API. So Django server can identify the API request is coming, not normal Django request. So API is activated. This is REST underscore framework. Let's do this now. Okay, how to do it clearly step by step. So I'm trying to open PyCharm Professional Editor, sir. So PyCharm Professional Editor. So how normally you create Django projects, sir? You can create, or else you can go to command prompt steps. Okay, create your own virtual environment, activate that virtual environment, go to that virtual environment location, and create a Django project. Like that also you can go, but I'm not going because already you know how to prepare a Django project step by step by using command prompt. But directly I'm going to create today one new project here directly in the desktop location. I'm trying to create new project. I'm saying now you can see Django I'm selecting, and that the users Mohan folder desktop or Django project is there, but I'm giving project name is what, sir? Now you can see REST API project 6:30 a.m. My project name REST API project 6:30 a.m. Okay, so this strictly remember which I am creating in desktop inside the Mohan folder user C drive. Finally, once I create REST API project 6:30 am, I can include from now onwards I am using this project only. I can add more applications in our daily lectures. So once I complete REST API syllabus, REST API sessions, then this project folder also I'll make it rare folder and I'll send to your Google Drive so that you can able to see all the application code in one project location. Same how I send Django project 6:30 am folder to you. So same like this only. So I'm creating REST API project 6:30 am is project name. Excuse me. Do you want to create application? Yes, we can do it. How to create application means simply more settings are there. You can give application name, but later also you can create application, not a problem. So I'm not going to create an application. Later I'll try to create an application. I'm just giving a project called Django project. Click on create, and this window. Now you can see Django project is set up successfully done, sir. So now you can see Django project setup is successfully done. It's going to be load everything. Let it be complete this discovering binary modules, all these things. Now you can see this is how API will work, sir. Let's close this settings and let's close this settings. So this is normal Django project it is. There is no Django REST framework setup done. But to work with Django REST framework, what I recommend means click on terminal window. You can go to terminal window. And I said that under this REST API project 6:30 a.m. So which is created on desktop, we have to install Django REST framework or not. Yes. So whether it is created or not, you can see REST API 6:30 project. This folder, finally, I'm going to make RAR once I complete REST API sessions within 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So I'll make it RAR folder same like this, and you will receive this RAR folder also. First, let me install the Django REST framework. So to install Django REST framework, very simple command: pip space install space Django REST framework. That's it. Very simple command. Pip space install space Django REST framework. So already in my computer I have installed many times. So in my case I'll get a notification requirement already satisfied. Look at this requirement already satisfied. But in your computer, in your case, so for the first time if you are doing installing Django REST framework, it will be collect the libraries over the net, over the internet, and it will install, sir. No problem. I have already installed so in my computer so many times it is requirement already satisfied. Okay, fine. Then this is the process to install Django REST framework. After installation successfully done, what is required most important thing means you can go to settings.py file of Django project here. In this settings.py file, under the under the installed apps, you must and should include REST underscore framework. Look at this REST framework automatically coming in the IntelliSense because I have included already REST framework, REST API, sorry, Django REST framework software install. So this is compulsory, sir, mandatory. Don't disturb from now onwards. The moment when we are working with REST API application request and response, it must be there in the installed apps of Django. If it is not there, that means you are not working with REST API. You are working with only Django. So every day, this is common. Now, today I fixed no REST framework. It's common. I don't disturb now. Then next step is what you can create your application. So application means how to create Python space manage.py start app, common procedure. Start app. I'm taking REST app 1. I'm creating my application name is REST app 1. It is REST app 1 means first application. From now onwards I keep on creating REST app 2, REST app 3, REST app 4 like this. Okay, so Python space manage.py start app REST app 1, and the create the application, and you can include this application also REST app 1 also, which I created in my project here. REST app 1 is there, you have to include or not in the installed app, so you have to include REST app 1. That's it. From now onwards we have to start the programming part of REST API. This is making setup of REST APIs, or nothing is there, as simple as that. So this is about complete demo lecture in today's session. This is the first session of Django REST framework, and tomorrow I'm going to start actual programming, what we need to do in the Django REST framework. Okay, how to create API using serialization and deserialization concept is there. That is the main important concept, serialization and deserialization. So as of now, what I can say, serialization means reading the data from database. Deserialization means sending the data from client to database. This you can keep it in your mind. And tomorrow I'll give you more clarity about serialization and deserialization, what is exactly how it will work. So we'll discuss now onwards. This is Django REST framework introduction and setup making with REST API including REST framework including REST underscore framework library and REST API 1 only. From now onwards we can go for API working style. So these are the API working style. We need to create models, and It's a common thing, models creation and making migrations, admin panel, and what we can say, view, mainly view importance, but only we will skip in Django REST framework completely. What's our templates we are going to skip? We are not going to use templates. Instead of templates, we are using what actually JSON format. This JSON data will be directly come and display into UI. Clear UI is the user interface that is available. So that's all for today. So today you will receive this video number 1, REST API. You can also download this video. Okay, serial wise I'm going to provide one REST API video, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Almost minimum 18 to 20 videos it will be there. So 18 to 20 classes is required to complete this REST API. So you can receive this, and today you will send, I'll send the PDF also what I shown now, so you can keep it. And once we complete this 18 to 20 sessions of REST API, we'll go for Flask framework also. See you tomorrow again. Tomorrow I'll start programming part, application implementation with models and views, and how the API is rendering into JSON format, where the JSON data will be represent. I'll show you clearly step by step.